Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome biggity back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden and today we're doing part like 3 to a very large part. I'm going to lose track of that very fast, but we're doing another part to a very large part series that we got going on. Here's a picture I'm going to put on screen from now on so you guys know exactly how this series works. And yeah, today is American Muscle Cars, so that means that next time it's going to also be American Muscle Cars, but this time it's under 5K, or 10K, and next time it's going to be under 5K. Really quick, I want to remind you guys at www.smoothstance.com/shop to buy any hats, shirts, or shorts. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support that we've gotten with that. All the orders that have come through, it means the world to me. And I know that this upload is going to be early in the day, and that's because I'm going to try and do them starting a little bit earlier from now on. I feel like it'd be a little bit better for you guys to watch them like immediately when you get out of school or something rather than late at night. And so yeah, we're gonna start doing them earlier, but let's get right into it. All right, so coming in at number 12 or dead last is the Pontiac Solstice, and they came with a 2.4 liter inline 4 that makes 260 horsepower, and they were rear wheel drive and a funny little drift missile. Like these things, if you see these things swinging it, you're gonna die of laughter. But they aren't the most popular choice for obvious reasons. First of all, they're not that cool looking. Second, they have terrible aftermarket support. Like nobody ever modifies these cars, and so aftermarket support for them is just kind of not there. And they're pretty overpriced for what they are. Like they're an inline 4 that makes 260 horsepower. On top of that, Pontiac is kind of a dead brand by now, so nobody really wants to like help you work on them or anything like that. And so you're gonna be kind of stuck at that 260 horsepower. Numero 11 is the Dodge Challenger SXT, and that comes with a 3.6 liter V6 that makes 303 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. And yes, I know that nobody wants a V6 muscle car, but if you aren't like so hell-bent on other people's opinions, then this car is honestly a great choice. They first of all look just like a normal Challenger, and you can save so much money buying one. Also, if this is going to be one of your first cars, then it's probably better to go with one with less horsepower anyway. So if you don't really have plans on going like super fast and you just want a cool looking car, then pick yourself up one of these, but just be ready to accept all the hate that you're going to get for actually driving one, because the muscle car community is ruthless when it comes to V6 muscle cars. Number 10 is the Ford Mustang GT New Edge, and that comes with a 4.6 liter V8 that makes 260 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive and looked really cool, but performance wise wasn't the best. Keep in mind though, this is back in the early 2000s when it was pretty hard to get a car to make 300 horsepower. These cars were also pretty lightweight compared to other muscle cars of the time, so they did have a bunch of different opportunities when talking about racing, and I find that pretty cool. Like this car isn't just confined to strictly going fast in a straight line. Because they're so lightweight and have such low horsepower, they actually handle pretty well too, which is really cool. And it's a V8 muscle car, so you're not going to get made fun of, and you can put some extra ponies on there a little bit later. Number 9 is the Chrysler 300C, and it comes with a 5.7 liter V8 that makes 363 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. And they are one of the most, and I say this in the most least offensive way out possible, but they're one of the most ghetto cars out there. People that buy these always put just the weirdest like rapper style mods on them, but either way, they are a sleeper and a half. They look like any old sedan, but sitting underneath that hood is a big ol' Hemi V8, baby, and who doesn't love Hemi? All right, it's a freaking beast of an engine that's sitting under that hood. The only reason that I didn't put it any higher is because they didn't come in a manual transmission, and for a muscle car not to come in manual, that makes me want to cry. Number 8 is the Dodge Charger R/T, and that comes with a 5.7 liter V8 that makes 368 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive once again. And just like the Chrysler we literally just talked about, they didn't come in a manual transmission. Every Charger doesn't come in a manual transmission, but the reason that I put this Charger a little bit higher than the Chrysler is because the aftermarket support and looks of the car is just absolutely well worth it in my opinion. The Chargers look a lot better than the Challengers in my opinion, but it's ultimately up to you when talking about looks. So this one and the last spot are interchangeable. I mean, they are literally the exact same car pretty much, except the Charger looks different than the Chrysler, and in my opinion, it looks a little bit better. Number 7 is the Pontiac GTO, which stands for Gamer toddler overlord. And it comes with a 6-liter V8 that makes 400 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive and such a freaking powerhouse of a car. The only thing that I can't bring myself to enjoy about this car is the looks, and boy oh boy are the looks bad. I know that's a stupid thing to put a car so low for, but it's my list and I just can't get over it. Like, usually American cars, they look absolutely great and they look aggressive as hell, but this one just didn't. It just looked like boring. It just looked bubbly and not that cool. Either way, performance wise, they are something else that should be studied in freaking like high school because of how amazing they are. So if you really just want a fast car and you don't really care about the looks, then the GTO is still an amazing choice. Number 6 is the Ford Mustang GT S197, and that comes with a 4.7 liter V8 that makes 300 horsepower on the dot, and it was rear wheel drive, and they are the ultimate non-car guy car, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm not saying that if you have one and you're a car guy, that makes your opinion invalid. I'm saying that most people who aren't car guys get one of these and think that they are like the fastest, coolest car guy out there, and then they crash it, which is why these cars get the moniker as a crowd killer. It's kind of sad because they aren't that hard to control in the right hands, and I know Mustang guys didn't ask for so many people to buy these cars, but due to people wanting to be cool, these cars got hated on when they're really a very good choice for a muscle car under 10K. Numero 5, 5th place, is the Chevy Camaro SS 5th generation, and that comes with a 6.2 liter V8 that makes 426 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive and an absolute freaking tank when it comes to performance. Like, holy moly, that is a fast puppy. They also don't look too bad, but also don't look the best in my opinion. I know some people might get mad that I put the Camaro ahead of the Mustang, but let me remind you that this is my list. And let me remind you that I'm not that big of an American muscle car guy. I really like Japanese cars. It's kind of my thing. So this is just kind of like my basic knowledge on the cars. Looks alone, I think the S197 Mustang facelift is way better, but you can't argue that the LS powered freaking beast of a Camaro that makes 426 horsepower doesn't make you just a little bit happy. Number 4 is the Jeep Wrangler TJ Hunt, and they came with a 4 liter V6 that makes 181 horsepower, and it was a 4x4 because Jeep is just a Jeep. And let me explain why I put a Jeep higher than some of the freaking biggest names in the muscle car game. These last 4 cars, 4, 3, 2, and 1, are the 4 best cars for under 10K for different scenarios. The Jeep is being the best off-road fun monster in my opinion. And yes, I know that this list is supposed to be about cars, but the Jeep is such an amazing American vehicle that you can't make an American list without mentioning it. So these next 4 are going to be 4 different cars that are the best for scenarios, and the Jeep Wrangler is the best for off-roading. And the reason why I did that is because American car market makes cars for all different kinds of people, and I feel like it would be stupid to put them all in just different places based on just power alone. 3rd place is the Ford Focus ST, and that comes with a 2 liter turbocharged inline 4 that makes 252 horsepower, and it was front wheel drive. And like I said before, this is the best car for a certain scenario. This scenario being a fun daily driver. It's a hatchback, and it's good on gas mileage, and it's pretty freaking reliable, all while still having a really good amount of horsepower underneath that hood. For the car itself, obviously, that compared to some of the other cars we've been talking about, that's not that good horsepower, but for the car, it's pretty good. For that whole America trying to make like small sports cars thing that they did, I think the only one to actually succeed in doing it was the Focus ST, and now look at them here. They make an amazing economy sports car. Number 2, 2nd place, is the Pontiac Trans Am, and it comes with a 6.6 liter V8 that makes 220 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. And once again, this car is perfect for a certain scenario. This scenario being if you just want some old American muscle car that's just like a piece of history at this point, and you just want to rebuild it and make it into something beautiful, make it look like it's from factory again. If that's the case, then I think that this is the best one. I mean, who doesn't love the Firebirds? They look amazing. And no, they aren't the fastest cars out there, nowhere near it. They are very slow compared to today's standards, but they just look and sound so unbelievably cool. And yes, you can get one for under 10K. It will just need a lot of work because it's an old American muscle car. Every old American muscle car is going to need work for under 10K. But first place, the car that tops every other car in the American car market right now, is easily the Chevy Corvette C5. And that comes with a 5.7 liter V8 that makes 350 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive. And first of all, I just want to say shout out to America for always making rear wheel drive cars. We love to see that. Like, a lot of these cars on this list were rear wheel drive, and that just makes me so happy. But this car is actually just amazing. I mean, everything about it makes me so happy. Maybe it's because I grew up like racing with this car in video games, and my dad has always liked these cars. They always were like, yeah, Mark, you should like Corvettes, they're really cool. So maybe that's why. But they are great. Like, they're lightweight with good horsepower, meaning that they are fast little puppies. They're really good at handling, which is really hard to say for most American cars. They're extremely cheap for what you're getting, and they are one of the best looking cars out there ever, in my opinion. Pop-up headlights and those two little circle taillights with the long front end, it just is so cool. They also have a freaking LS in them, and that makes for a good car in any form of anything. If you put an LS in the freaking Miata, that car is now worth $1 million. All right, LSs are just sick. And these cars, despite all these other muscle cars that are typically pretty good only in a straight line, the Corvette was actually good at everything. It can drift, it can drag race, it can street race, it can track race. I don't know about rally racing, but everything else it's great for. It's just the all-around perfect sports car that America has ever made for under $10,000. But that is the end of this 12 car list. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, you already know what to do, baby girl. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched this far, you're probably a fan of the channel. So yes, I am going to say that we are going to be uploading earlier in the day now instead of late at night, so that you guys get a chance to watch it the day that it comes out instead of waiting the next day after you get out of school or something like that. I just figured it'd be better. So yeah, this video probably will be going live around like 7 o'clock tonight, I want to say, which isn't that early, but it's a lot earlier than the 10, 11 o'clock that we've been doing. So hope you guys are excited to get started on that. And let me remind you, www.smoothstance.com/shop to pick up any hats, shirts, or shorts. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support that we've gotten on the merch drop. It's actually mind-blowing how many sales we've gotten. It just, like, it's so cool, man. Thank you guys so much. Like, I really appreciate that. I'll start giving some shout outs here and there too, because I can't give you guys all shout outs obviously, but I can give you a couple, so I'll start doing that from now on too. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Das Vidania, have a nice night.